Hello there and welcome to Black Jackal Gaming. We're going to take a look at the Redemptor Dreadnought, which is one of the Primaris Dreadnoughts. It's a very tough, versatile variety of the Dreadnought, being both melee and shooting. It's got a fair amount of mid-strength shooting with a high amount of shots and a decent amount of damage. It's good into mid-strength infantry, but it can target some of those lighter vehicles as well, depending on your loadout. It has some high-strength melee attacks, and it's got a nice ability that reduces incoming damage, and it can work well in quite a few detachments. Only problem is it's a bit on the expensive side. She's got the standard Dreadnought profile, being movement 8, toughness 10, 2 up save, 12 wounds, leadership 6, and a nice objective control of 4. He does come in at 200 points, which is a little bit on the pricey side. He has the deadly demise ability, being a vehicle, and this is D3, so when you're 6 inches away, you can take D3 mortal wounds if he explodes. You've got two options for his main gun, the first being the heavy onslaught Gatling cannon. This comes with the devastating wounds keyword, so any critical wounds of a 6+ will bypass the save throw. So it has a 24-inch range, 12 attacks, strength 6, 0 AP and 1 damage. Or you can take the Macroplasma Incinerator. This comes with two different profiles you can use. The standard, which has the blast keyword, gives you +1 attack for every 5 models in unit, and the supercharged version, which comes with the hazardous and the blast keyword. So if you roll a 1 on your hazardous, you will take 3 mortal wounds. So they both have 36-inch range and come in with D6 +1 attacks. Now the only difference is the standard comes with the strength 8, -3 AP and 2 damage, and the supercharged version comes with strength 9, -4 AP and 3 damage. So you get +1 to your strength, AP and damage. You've then got your secondary weapon on your Redemptor Fist. So you've got the choice of a heavy flamer, which comes with a torrent or ignores cover keyword, so automatically hits. Got 12-inch range, D6 attack, strength 5, a nice -1 AP and 1 damage. Or you can take an onslaught Gatling cannon. This is a smaller version. This comes with the devastating wounds keyword. It's 24 inches, 8 attacks, strength 5, 0 AP, 1 damage. You can also equip it with an Icarus rocket pod, which has the anti-fly 2+ keyword. So you wound any units with the fly keyword on a 2+. So 24-inch range, D3 shots, strength 8, -1 AP, 2 damage. And then you've got the option of either a twin Fragstorm missile launcher or a twin Storm bolter on the chassis of the Dreadnought. So the Fragstorm comes with the blast and twin link keyword, so you can reroll those wounds. You've got 18-inch range, D6 attack, strength 4, 0 AP, 1 damage. Or the Storm bolter comes in with 24-inch range, 2 attacks, does have that rapid fire 2 though, strength 4 and damage 1. So as you can see, it's got quite a nice amount of medium strength attacks, decent amount of AP. So you do have the option of going with your onslaught Gatling cannon with your mini onslaught and trying to push out those dev wounds, or you can get a little bit more damage, AP and strength on your weapons by going for the Macroplasma, but it does have that variable amount of shots, and you do have hazardous, which can play a key part. And then you've got a bit of chip damage you can do along the way as well. For his melee attack, he comes in at weapon skill 3, and he has his Redemptor Fists. So he gets 5 attacks at strength 12, -2 AP, 3 damage. So it's one of the highest strength things you can have in the Space Marine army when it comes to melee. Most things are coming at more your 5 or your 8 strength. So having that strength 12 does make this guy an asset in melee. And then you have, for your ability, Duty Eternal. So every time an attack is allocated to the model, you can subtract 1 from the damage characteristic, making this guy with his 2 up save and toughness 10 and 12 wounds stay around for quite a bit in the game. It's quite nice having that on him. It'd be nice if that was on all the other Dreadnought variants and he had another ability to go along with it. But you can't really complain about damage reduction on an already quite tough unit. He also brackets within the 1 to 4 wounds range, so this will subtract 1 to his hit roll. So what buffs and combos can you give to the Redemptor? Since he's a vehicle, as standard you get the Tech Marine, which is +1 to hit roll and can be healed. He gets access to Big Guns Never Tire, so you can shoot in and out of combat, and he has access to the core stratagem Tank Shock. So what detachments is he good in? Well, since he's a vehicle, Ironstorm Spearhead is great for all vehicles because they're just made to buff this type of unit. So the detachment rule is you can reroll a hit, wound or damage roll. The damage not so important because you don't have any variable damage, but the ability to reroll a hit or wound roll on your macro plasma is quite nice. There's a piece of war gear that you can give to a Tech Marine, which is Target Augury. This is a 6-inch aura of lethal hits, so that's going to be really nice when you're trying to target those tougher units. There's another piece of war gear called the Machine of War, which allows him to fall back and advance and shoot when it's within the 6-inch aura, so allowing him to not just use his melee ability but also keep the guns firing for longer. There's a stratagem called Mercy's Weakness, which gives him sustained hits 1 and crits on a 5+ against vehicle units. That's going to be really nice, even if you've got the heavy onslaught Gatling cannon. If you go into a slightly weaker vehicle unit, having that amount of shots with sustained hits 1 on crits 5, you're going to get a lot of hits going through. Then there's another stratagem called Ancient Fury. So in the command phase, you select one of the walker units in your army, and you can increase the movement, toughness, leadership, objective control by 1. And melee attacks also get that +1 to hit, so that's quite nice since he does have that strength 12 Redemptor Fist. You can then put him in the Anvil Siege Force, which gains the heavy keyword, so if you're not babysitting him with a Tech Marine, he is going to be hitting on 2s when stationary, which means you're not going to really be leaning into his melee capabilities as much, but if you want him to hold down the home objective or take certain board control, you can just plonk him in place and have him stand still and just unleash hell on people. There's then the other stratagem called Battle Drill Recall. This gives sustained hits 1 and critical hits on a 5 if he remains stationary. So not only is he hitting on 2s, if he's stationary he's getting sustains on 5+, which is very nice. And then because he does have the melee capability, you can start leaning into the Stormlance Task Force. And this is the more fast melee detachment. So the detachment rule is you can advance and fall back and still charge. So at the start of the game with that 8-inch movement, and you can advance, so you're averaging 4 and then averaging 7 for your charge. You are looking really at a 17, 18, 19-inch threat range right off the back. Pushing this up to 21, 22 if you get slightly more lucky. So you can have that first turn charge and threaten with that to disrupt your opponent's deployment. And then there's a stratagem you could use called Blitzing Fusillade, which gives him the assault keyword for his range weapons. So if you are charging forward and you've decided to say go for the onslaught Gatling cannons, you've then got a substantial amount of shots you're putting out while you can advance and still charge into combat. So it can really be a turn 1, turn 2 threat in melee early on, just to add that additional damage and take out some key units early on, especially if you're targeting one of the Oath of Moment units, so you're getting those full reroll on the hits as well. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any comments, then pop them below in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, then please hit the like button as it greatly helps the channel. Hit the subscribe button to see any future Warhammer content. Take it easy and see you next time for more grim darkness from the 41st millennium.